All right, come on, let's get this cracking.
It's me. Can you picture this? Right, baby, good looking, baby. See why I got another. I see y'all. Yeah. Can you picture this? You know, rocking with CYPT. Podcast of the D with Clay and the crew. It's like my CTV. They be in the game out so much, you could take the same route. Especially if you take risks, this YouTube, you make sense. Yeah.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? You are listening to the CYPT podcast, the podcast of the strongest, fastest, most powerful t-shirt/print shop in the Eastern Seaboard. This program is being brought to you with the Wash and Fine fragrance detergent, guaranteed to make your custom clothing last longer, smell fresher. We have 3 scents: Heaven Scent, Cloud 10, and Divinity. Just imagine wrapping yourself in a cloud of freshness every time that you wear your favorite custom outfit when you use Whiff. So I am Just Niles.
It's your boy Lance.
This is LL. I'm Clay, better known as Fearless.
And we are the
Hey, I'm Bree.
Couple of guests.
crew for the night. Tonight we are speaking about the topic of staying in your own lane. And I just kind of want to ask you, what do you mean? What do you feel staying in your lane means?
Do what you do. Do what you do best.
Do what you do best.
Do what you do best. Find your own lane. Stay in your a niche. Your own niche.
Your own thing. How do we apply that here to us at the shop?
So what we do here mainly is we are a memorial t-shirt/printing shop. So 80% of the things that we do here is around memorial items. So obituaries and the memorial t-shirts, the stand-ups. So anything along those lines is pretty much what we do.
Now, that doesn't mean that we don't do the stuff that we...
No.
I just want to clear that up.
We do other things, but the majority of those things that we do is around memorial.
Why do we want to focus on that mostly?
So we can stay the best in that field. So we pretty much is the greatest. In the memorial field,
this is what we get a lot of.
What we get a lot of, and is what we do best.
Is we have a lot of the systems in place here,
right,
to help us do that better, to help us move those faster. A lot of times people come in here, and sometimes it's the funerals tomorrow, funerals today.
Yeah, and we get it done
because we are the strongest, fastest, most powerful print shop. Are there any challenges that you could think of for staying in your own lane? Is there any? Do you ever feel that you have to keep up with trends or keep up with the Joneses, or can you only just focus on this?
Well, you can dibble and dabble out a little bit, you know, if it's a trend that's coming. But I'm pretty much focused on doing what I do. I don't try and do what the Joneses are doing. I just do what I do, and stick with that. You know, because those trends, if it's something that you just have to change because it's just a new thing, then
Maybe somebody's asking for it.
Yeah, they keep asking for it a lot. So if you get a lot of requests from customers and they want to know if you do a particular thing, then it may be worth a try. You know,
that's how we got started with the kind of like the airbrushing looking thing. We weren't doing that for a while, but we kept.
Yeah, so it was just a strong demand for airbrush look. So that's why we came up with the airbrush look instead of just quote unquote airbrushing ourselves.
But you know what, that airbrush look, it even still has a lot to do with the lane that we're in anyways.
Right,
a lot of
but
people
it was still in the memorial lane. So even though it was an airbrush, we still stayed in our lane with the memorializing the people, their loved ones.
Yeah, it really just came kind of full circle. How much energy should you focus on the main thing? You and me talk sometimes, and there's this 80-20 rule that you speak of about every now and again.
Yeah, that's It's called the Pareto principle.
The Pareto principle.
So, like,
Tell me about that.
so it's an 80-20 rule. Have you heard of it, Pareto?
It sounds very familiar. Refresh me.
So, it's actually a book out on it, and I read the book. It's pretty good. So, 20% of like the things that we do here makes up about 80% of the revenue. So, if we stay focused on that 20%, we can even make more money. So that's why I want to just stay in my lane, which is, the memorial stuff, because that's what's selling.
Do you think there's a downside to having too many things going?
It is, because you can't stay focused on everything.
You're breeding in weakness. Right?
Exactly. So you want to pick your strong points and stay at that, and that's one of our strong points.
What made you make that pivot? As a shop that does a lot, and I mean we do a lot, or would you say that we've always stayed in this lane?
We pretty much always stayed in this lane, right? So we'll get some jobs. I'm not saying like we're not going to do those jobs. We'll still do those jobs. But what our main focus on and what we marketing toward too is what we do, and that's the memorial.
I feel like even though we are focusing on that, we still have so many options.
We do. We got sports. We got schools.
Any special events?
Special events, birthday parties. We do. That's a lot.
I didn't actually mean that. I meant just in the memorial lane. We still have a plethora of options when it comes to that.
We do. With us being like a print company, my suggestion of staying in your own lane is, and that's especially for those who are just starting out, you really want to get focused in on like one particular thing, right? So if you were like, just say, you were just tackling sports events or football team or basketball team, or you were going out just getting jobs for like restaurants or whatnot. That's a good thing, just to stay focused on that and become great at it. And then once you become great at it, then you can start adding other things on later. And that's what we did here. So we became great at one thing. And then as we grew, we started getting better at other things. So we were able to focus more on those other things. And it just grew and had like a snowball effect. So that's why we grew so big,
That's how we got here.
And now I'm trying to focus on narrowing back down.
I really like that. What you're doing is you're taking what we do, and you're always upgrading it. You're always going further and deeper and stronger into our lane, into the 80%, into what makes that stronger.
Right.
And I don't see you neglecting the other stuff either, but I do see you focusing more on what we are good at. Does staying in your lane, because does it help you reach more goals, not just in the lane but outside the lane as well? Does it help push more things?
Yeah, I think it does. It helps because like once people get a hold of like what you're doing, that word spreads fast. So you want to be the guy or the person or the company that's known for whatever you do. So if it's like who can do my obituary? So if you're doing all these different things, you're not going to be known for that. So be known for something,
I also think, everyone here is also multi-specialized.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone here is an expert in their own zone. Mm-hmm. I mean, we kind of float over a little bit here and there because we have to.
Yeah.
But everyone here is very specialized in different.
Exactly.
He's big on that. I keep asking to do more things, and sometimes he'll have you, like you said, he'll have you float over. But Fearless is pretty big on having you master the kung fu that you're good at. Before you got to master crane style before you can do tiger style. He's really, no, for real. He's big on that. And he's right. The more I do obituaries, the more I try to do the DTFs and the airbrush looks and all that, the better I get at it. And it's the same thing all around. I like that you brought that up. Why is that such a strong principle to you to make sure that you learn Crane style before you learn Tiger style, before you even get to Wu-Tang?
Because you want to be the best at what you do, so your work's gonna reflect it. So if you're doing flyers, like who did this flyer? Like it's great because you're constantly doing it. And if you're spreading yourself thin, then you're not gonna get great at one particular thing. So get great at one particular thing first, and then you can start branching out.
How do you avoid that burnout of doing the same thing over and over again?
Well,
or do you not?
Well, if you love it, you're not going to get burned out. So,
True.
So like I love doing a particular thing. So that's the one thing that I want to do is because I like to do it. So how can I get burnt out? And that's what, when I hire people, they get a tour of the shop and kind of see what they like to do. So that's where I like to stick them at. So if you like doing flyers, I want you on flyers because you're gonna continuously do flyers and be good at it and not want to go nowhere else and not get burned out.
How do you do that as a leader? How do you not only, and this is for people that have their own shops, their own companies. How do you not only focus on staying in your lane, but also make sure that the people who you work with, how do you find that lane for them? Is it natural? You just see it in them?
Yeah, so I can see it in them. I'm observe, what they do best, and then kind of say you're pretty good at that. Pretty good at what you do over there. And if they agree with me and they like doing it, then that's where they'll be.
Have you ever been wrong? Have you ever thought someone was good at Tiger style, but actually they needed to learn?
Maybe they've been good at Tiger style or whatever, but when they got to a different area or something like that, and I seen wow, you got skills over here too. You the man over here. You master that more than you master, the other style over there. So it's a good thing to just first master one thing and then bounce around a little bit, play with different things sometime, and then see if you like that. Then you can, maybe do both.
Do you ever feel like you're advancing in your lane? Do you ever feel like you're getting stronger? Because I heard you say master, but in my experience, you can never master this. There's always something new.
There's always something that you're going to learn. We continue to learn stuff every single day. There's nothing I'm not learning. Every day I learn something.
Every project's different.
Yeah, and every project's different. Lance said, dang, man, how did you learn that? Where'd you learn that at? Today, we something that I did with a layout. And he said, where'd you learn that at? Oh, YouTube University. So, yeah.
Tell me, is there ever a time where you are in this lane, but someone needs something done in another lane, but it also needs your lane? So how do you collab with someone else in another lane, but also stay in your lane? Tell me how you go about that.
So if it's pretty much in the same highway,
okay,
different lane,
figure
speech,
right?
Same highway, different lane. We can go over there to that lane. We can put our blinker on and go into that lane because that's still what we do. You get what I'm saying? So even though we're doing memorial stuff, someone comes in the store and wants some football jersey, vinyl or whatever.
Right.
It's not too much different because we're doing it anyway. So if we merge over to that lane, it's still pretty much what we do. Now, if I get a project where it's out my league, out my lane, I'm just going to strictly turn it down. It's not worth it. That's what we were just talking about earlier. So,
that'd be another thing. Chasing, that's we don't want to be chasing.
Stop chasing.
You want to be
stop chasing.
Stop chasing the money. Let the money chase you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't chase because you're always going to be chasing it.
Isn't that only after you get to a certain point though, or do you believe that philosophy should just stand regardless?
Well, early.
Early in the game, you gotta chase a little.
You
gotta chase a bag a little bit.
But I would strongly encourage you to stay in your lane. Yeah.
Don't step out at all. There has to be.
If say for instance it's slow, you don't have nothing to do anyway, then go get the money. But when you start getting a little bit busy and being consistent, then that's when you want to stay in your lane. And then when you start to broaden out a little bit, like we're doing, we broaden out. Now we're trying to narrow back down because what we're realizing is that with like what I was saying with the Pareto rule, 20% of the things that come in, well, 80% of the things that come in is like memorial stuff. So why not just focus on that alone and leave the other stuff alone, not focus on it. But still, we can still do it, but just not focus on it.
That's a crazy way to think about that. So you saying that we was doing way too many 20s.
Way too many 20s.
Way too many 20s.
Way too many 20s. 20% of our customers makes up 80% of the revenue. So those...
did you always know that, or did it take until now to come full circle?
Well, I kind of figured it out. Then I read a book. It's called the 80-20 principle or something like that, and it really like opened up my eyes to see that was what was happening in my business. So that's when I began to focus on it.
And this doesn't make you, and it doesn't make you feel like you're limiting yourself at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because we became to the point where we're busy anyway. So just focus on what we're doing already at a capacity of like 80%. And just focus on that 80% that we're doing.
I actually feel like when you focus on your 80%, I actually feel like it kind of automatically takes you into your 20%. What we do here normally branches out into something else. The printing, the artwork, even if it is just memorials, it leads into all the other avenues that we have, the DASA, the DTG.
That's all innovation, right? So like, you know, so we got the DTG, we have the screen, you know, the different machines and whatnot. Yeah. It's all state of the art.
Exactly.
Because it started with what you said. You said the T-shirts, but it made it to obituaries. Oh, yeah. And it made it to candles. It made it to... It was doing the 80 that even got to the 20s in the first place, is what I've been noticing. Mm-hmm. Really what I've been seeing. I think the last thing I want to ask... no. One of my... there's a guy named Jim Quick, I believe that's the name is, and he said that the most important thing is to keep the most important thing the most important thing.
Right.
How do you make sure? Because it's easy to get distracted. These 20s be looking good sometimes. How do you make sure that this 80? How do you wake up? How do you?
The 80s look good. Oh, the 80s.
The 80s look good. The 80s. You've never seen the 20s that was like, let me try this.
Of course. We do it all the time because we can. You know, it's in our realm. And like I say, if it's in your realm, then go ahead and tackle it. But if it's outside your realm,
like if you're more of like a startup, I think that's where we're kind of talking about more too. Where if you're just starting out, you really got to focus on what you're good at.
Yeah.
Or you're just not going to be really good at anything.
A lot of money.
Yeah, and it can get costly too.
Yeah, for example, like, you know, if we went out and got a DTG and didn't use it, just sat and got dusty, and we had all these big dreams and whatnot, but no, we put it to work immediately.
Or if you went out and got like a screen print machine, which I did.
It's just sitting there in the box.
I went out and like, I'm gonna start screen printing shirts, and it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. My thing was like more of digital stuff.
Can I ask how you found out what your lane was, what your 80 was? When did you go, you know what?
It'll tell you itself, whatever's happening. So the customers, the request, and it's what we did. I tried to get out of it, and it still just chased me. I didn't want to do this, but I didn't want to stay in the memorial lane, but it was just there. So now I just embraced it. So after I embraced it,
you didn't even want to.
No.
This wasn't even the goal.
No, this wasn't the goal.
So it'll show itself.
Yeah, it'll show itself.
That's crazy. The only difference I would say is because I went to school for it, and it did take a long time for me to figure out what I was good at. I hit so many brick walls, so many bad reviews, and then you find what you can do, and you take it from there. And you run full speed.
Yeah.
You run full speed at it.
So when I finally embraced it, right, I felt like that was my calling. You know what I'm saying? So when you find out your calling, you're just gonna just roll.
Why avoid the 80? Why run from it? Why run from what you already know you're good at?
Well, no, I'm not running from what I know I'm good at. I'm sticking with I know I'm good at. So the other stuff is like fluff, jobs coming here, different jobs coming from over there. And if it took me out of my realm, it's like, why even bother? It's just too much. It's taking you away from the stuff that comes natural to you.
I can see that. Yeah, I guess I'm always trying to try something new, But
let's maybe go into learning new skills.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting better overall. If you do want to change a lane, really focus on learning that new skill.
Yeah.
Don't just like dabble. I mean, really learn all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Different techniques and shortcuts or whatever makes your day easier.
I guess my last question for me is: when do you know it's time for me to switch from Crane style to Praying Manson style? Because I come to you constantly, but you're like, no, it's not time for that yet. No, I need you here. And then every now and again, you'll be like, okay, step over here. Let me show you this Wu-Tang style real quick. When do you know it's time for as a leader, when do you know it's time for your people to step out a little bit?
When you pretty much master that Crane style. So if you pretty much master that Crane style, now you can step outside what you've been doing. So, because you got that down pat. So now you can come over here.
There's the same philosophy for yourself. You mastered this first, then you decide.
I do the same philosophy for myself. I like to stick to like one thing and like really know it, get in tune with it, and then I'll just try and learn something else.
Do you only use the stay in your lane philosophy here at the shop, or can it be used in your personal everyday life?
I think it can be used in your personal everyday life as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dead. I would like to say in the closing remark that we're not saying to limit yourself at all here at Can You Picture This? We definitely want you to broaden your horizon. The only thing we're saying is to be strong in your strength.
Forging that sword.
Only getting better, only getting stronger, only getting faster.
You are listening to CYPT Podcast. You are listening to CYPT Podcast. You are listening to CYPT Podcast.